Welcome to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm your host, Sade Curry, and I believe every divorced woman deserves a romantic relationship where she feels safe, loved, and cherished. You can create the most amazing life after divorce, and I will teach you how. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I am your host, Sade Curry, and it is a pleasure to be back with you today. So I have a new series of podcasts. So you might see several dropping in the month of November. Today is October the 27th. So over the next several weeks, I really want to deep dive into the concept of being relationship centered. If you are on social media or if you read news outlets, you may have seen a lot of talk around being men-centered, decentering men, centering yourself in your life. And it is a very important concept in dating. I don't use the same language that they use on social media just because I find that a lot of the decenter men conversations, while the concept is incredible and I endorse it, the language of the conversation is often shaming to women, almost as though you are bad for being someone who centered men. And it doesn't take into consideration the fact that when you are socialized as a woman, when you are raised as a woman, when you are conditioned as a woman, you are basically brainwashed from the time you are a child to center men. And that not only are you conditioned as a child in most families of origin and in most cultures, today's culture, today's narrative, today's television, movies, magazines, books, the language of music, the language of our society continues to center men. So, of course, women center men because everybody centers men. Even men center men. They center themselves when they are with women. They center other men when they are with them. Most men are seeking the approval of the men in their lives, not the approval of the women in their lives. So everybody centers men. So when there is specific language directed at women saying, well, can't believe you centered a man, you're looking to a man. It's kind of like, well, that's kind of like what everybody's doing. So I don't enjoy that language, although I enjoy the concept. The second reason I don't necessarily toe the line of like, okay, decenter men is that women are not just conditioned to center men, we are conditioned to center relationships as a whole. And so even women who are not dating or who are not in a relationship, I have found that many of them are centering other people in their lives. So I guess if you were to ask me, what do I think women should be doing? I would say women need to center themselves in their own lives. And that is the only language that I would enjoy using if I were to talk about the concept, because it is the only answer that is always correct, right? It is the only answer that is always correct all of the time, is that your person should be the most important person in your life. And then from the overflow of caring for yourself, you have your own mask on, and then you are able to care for others. You are able to care for your child. You are able to care appropriately for your siblings or care appropriately for your parents or a spouse if you have one, or a partner if you have one. You are able to appropriately evaluate the people that you date and figure out if they're right for you or not right for you. You are able to appropriately invest or not invest in a relationship because you are at the center. Your needs are at the center, and you are allowing other adults to be themselves and to do their own thing. And then you are acting appropriately with other adults. You are doing things with consent. You are like, hey, I'd love to help you with this. You are asking if they want you to help with it. You are asking yourself if you're the appropriate person to help with it. So that is my thought about it. But I do think it's a very important thing to consider. I have been working, and so the series I'm going to do is coming from the work that I have done behind the scenes this year with my one-on-one clients. So times when I am not promoting the Dating After Divorce Collective, I am actually working behind the scenes with my one-on-one clients who are often thinking about divorce or divorcing or rebuilding post-divorce or making career pivots. Some of them are building businesses. And I've always had, that's actually where I started with my coaching business, was with private one-on-one coaching. And then I started the Dating After Divorce Collective. And the private one-on-one coaching has just kind of always been there. And women come to me for all kinds of different things. I grew up in Nigeria, so a lot of women from the global south or from Nigeria will reach out to me because they don't know other coaches who are from Nigeria, and there's a cultural context there that is helpful for them. And so I've always had that. And this year I really sat with it. I didn't do a lot of other marketing of the dating part of the business. And so I was able to really look at the patterns with my one-on-one clients who were working on big goals. And to a T, every single one of them has challenges with achieving their goals because they are centering other relationships, prioritizing other people over their own goals. And so that's what I want to talk about. So over the next, I guess you could say 3 to 4 weeks, you will find all the podcast episodes will be about that. And it will also be about dating, because this applies to dating too. A lot of my dating clients are not able to feel centered, and they're constantly heartbroken in the dating process because they are not centering what they want in the dating process. And you've heard me talk about this before, but this is just another slant towards that. So let's start with the fact that humans are social creatures. Nothing I'm going to say is to say don't have relationships. I am very pro relationship myself. The people who are in my life know that I am all for them. They are a priority. There are people in my life who know they can call me at 2 a.m. and I will answer. The people who are in the inner circle of my life know it. It's always very clear when you are in the inner circle of my life, right? And I have multiple people. I have 3 best friends and they know that they're my best friend. They know that they can call me at any time. They know that I'm basically constantly chasing them down for us to do friend things. I have my spouse, I have my kids. Like, the people in my life that are close to me know that they're close to me. And I am always trying to expand that circle of people who are close to me. I do it very slowly, but I do it because I know that we are social creatures and we need community. Like, you cannot survive without other people mirroring back to you that you're loved, that you are appreciated, that you are valuable, that they care for you, and that they have your back. Like, if you do not have that in your life, that will shrivel your soul. So I'm very pro relationship. I have worked with clients. I have a client who had, her family was already very small, and the members of her family had passed away. Other members in her family had other challenges. So she really was not close. She did not have close family ties, and had her job made her travel a lot. So she never really put down roots in her 20s and 30s. And so when she finally retired early, she found herself without very deep relationships. She only had 1 or 2. And we spent a year working on building community for her, like a whole year. And when we were done, she had a home, a church base. She had close friends. She had people she could call if she had a medical emergency. She had people that she was contributing to their lives as well. So it's really important, and it takes time and energy and focus to build a healthy community around yourself. When I got divorced, what I thought was my healthy community disappeared. If it was healthy, it wouldn't have disappeared. But I wasn't a healthy person at the time, so I wasn't building healthy things. And so I had to build my own relationships from scratch as well. And that is why I know that having relationships in your life is very important. So don't misconstrue anything I say about centering yourself or putting yourself first or focusing yourself to mean that you shouldn't have relationships. In fact, centering yourself and understanding your needs will let you know that you do need relationships, and it will help you find the relationships that are right for you. So we are social creatures, biologically, emotionally, mentally. We thrive in healthy social environments, and then we wither in unhealthy social environments. One of the things that's super important is to know for you as an individual what kind of social environment is right for you. you can't even do that. You can't figure that out if you don't center yourself. Because you will just go, you will look around and say, well, this person is thriving in this environment. There must be something wrong with me. No, but that environment might not be right for you. You are a unique human being. You have your own thoughts, feelings, personality, conditioning, desires, hopes. Not every environment where one person thrives is the one where another person thrives. And I know this because when it comes to my business is such an important part of my life. I love it. It is like one of the best things that's happened to me. I love building my business. I love working on it. But I know that there are certain environments where I can't talk about my business because the people there kind of don't get what I do. And they think it's weird. And they're like, well, why are you doing this? Why aren't you just like doing a regular profession, like being a lawyer or something? And I do have some of those environments. And I just know that that environment is not a place where my business can thrive. So I might have other conversations in that environment, and I might not spend a lot of time in that environment. But then I know people who thrive in those social environments. In the Nigerian community, we have something called Owambes, that's literally translated, I was there. When we were teenagers, we would always sign, and I went to boarding school, we would sign our name like on the desks and in the bathroom saying this person was here. And so that's literally the name of these social events. And I know people who just adore these social events, and they're a lot of fun. You dress up, there's food, there's dancing. It's amazing. I could probably enjoy one of those a year, or maybe one every 18 months, right? And be good. I'm good. I went, I danced, I sang, I ate the food. It was amazing. And I could love it, but I couldn't love it more than once a year, maybe twice if I tried really hard. So for me, an environment, a social environment or a social group or social community where the Owambes are the big thing that people are doing for community would not be an environment where I would thrive. I thrive in more like a salon kind of situation where people are sitting around and we're having conversation and we're talking and we're tearing things apart and like figuring things out and putting them back together. Whether or not we do anything about these ideas, it's a whole other situation. But sitting down and enjoying talking about ideas, good food. I'm definitely a fan of food. Good food, people sharing ideas is kind of like where I thrive. And so you find me here on the podcast, you find me coaching, you find me speaking, you find me delivering workshops. That's who I am. There's nothing wrong with other social environments, other social community. They're amazing. I really admire them from afar. But you have to know yourself, and you can't know yourself if you don't center yourself. Women are raised, we are conditioned, our society, this is not your parents' fault. It's not your grandparents' fault. It's not your great-great-grandparents' fault. This has been happening long before any of the people whose names you know were alive. Women were the first humans that were owned as property before even other enslaved people were owned as property. So this situation where women are overly relationship-centered has been going on for a very long time. So this situation exists, but we can't say, oh, it's this person's fault. Now, doesn't mean that people should be misogynistic, right? Doesn't mean that that's okay. It just means that sitting with the problem or how we handle the problem is going to be twofold, right? One is speaking out against misogyny or ways that women are treated badly or ways that women are being conditioned to continue taking on too much emotional labor. That is one way to make a change. And there are people who are speaking around that, and I follow a lot of them. I feel like my unique thing with this is to help individual women turn it around for themselves. So it's sort of like there's the macro situation where there's systemic issues around how women are treated in the court. Court is a huge one. Those of you on this podcast know when you were getting divorced, the court was very unfair to most women. There's a lot of problems with the way society runs. And there are some things we can do about that, but that's a very, very slow, grinding, step-by-step change to change the system. But changing your own internalized behaviors, your own internalized patterns, your own internalized conditioning and brainwashing, you can do that in an instant. you can change those beliefs that were ingrained in you, things that your parents told you, your society told you, your religion told you. You can change that like immediately, right? That's literally the work we do in coaching. You can start to change that relationship centeredness anytime you want, anytime you decide. Like if you are a person who, finds yourself always dropping whatever you were working on for yourself so that other people can get what they want from you because your relationship it's overly, there's nothing wrong with being relationship oriented, but you're overly relationship oriented, you can change that. Like that is something that I can help you change. The way to know if you need to change something is to find out if you are wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of attention and wasting a lot of energy trying to fit into what other people want you to be, trying to do things the way other people want. You're using a lot of time to clean up other people's messes. You're using a lot of time, setting boundaries and pushing people away and trying to get them to not control you. Or you find yourself not being able to say no, like your sister calls, your mother calls, your ex texts you, your boss wants stuff after hours, and you just find yourself kind of running on this hamster wheel of making sure everybody gets what they want. But you also want to start a business. You also want to travel. You also want to spend more time with your kids, right? You also want to lose weight or get more healthy. You also want to book your medical appointments, and you haven't been able to because there's just always fires. It's either your family has a fire or your boss or your coworker, or there's a coworker trying to micromanage you. The micromanager was a recent coaching situation with a client of mine. And you just can't figure out how to get all of these things off your plate so that you have time and space to think about you and to think about what you really want for your life. Then you really might be overly relationship oriented, and it's showing up in all of these little ways. And that is something you're going to want to work on because it's really hard to direct yourself or think about yourself or think about what you want to pursue your own direction in life if you're investing all of your energy and time and you find yourself going over situations over and over in your mind about what this person is doing and what that person is doing and what this person wants. This is why we are overwhelmed. This is why we're overwhelmed. This is why we're tired. This is why you just crash at the end of the day. And when people say, hey, you should try to live your best life, it's like, how can I do that? Can't you see I have all these things going on? This is why. It's not because there's not enough time or space or that you're not smart or brilliant. It's not because you're lazy or you're a procrastinator. You procrastinate because you're tired and you can't make decisions and you're overwhelmed because you used all your energy to try to figure other people out. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to talk about. In the subsequent episodes, we're going to dive into more specific situations. We'll figure out when we talked about where the pattern came from. We'll talk about how it involves or it creates a fear of conflict, right? And so you give up on your own stuff and avoid your own stuff rather than tell people no so that you can work on your own stuff. And if you recognize yourself in, anything that I have talked about today, if you already know, some of you already know that you have been putting off your goals because there's just too much drama going on in your life. You haven't been able to get started or you've gotten started and you haven't had time to dive deeper. Or you needed to fix some things, you couldn't get back to fixing some things because of what some people said. If you've had any of these things I've described, I want to invite you to work with me in private one-on-one coaching. We can fix this. You can get it done. I have had to fix this. I was so codependent in my first marriage. It was insane. The fact that I am somewhat independent, kind of know what I want in life, I'm going for it, is really a miracle because I spent 20 years knowing what I wanted, but not being able to lift a finger to go beyond the very first steps into getting something done. I have wanted to run an online business since I was 19. Like the minute I saw the internet and people started posting on, not chats, that we used to call them forums. I have wanted to have an online business since forums. You're talking since like 98 or 99. And I didn't start until closer to 2016, right? So almost 20 years, or maybe more than 20 years. I can't do the math right now. It is because I was so relationship oriented that I stayed in a marriage that was sabotaging a lot of what I was doing. I was spending so much time doing things for my ex-husband. I applied for his green card in the United States. I did all of the paperwork. He wouldn't even go and submit the paperwork at the INS office because you had to submit it in person at that time. I did that. I walked in like to submit the paperwork. He wanted to apply to grad school. I did all of the I wasn't even a math person. I applied to his math program and got him in. Like it was insane how much energy I invested in other people through the years, and not just my ex, like other people, other family members, friends, and church. It was insane. And I have turned all of that around. My projects come first now. My purpose, what I feel like I am here to do, comes first. And so you can do it, right? If I can do it, you can do it. Or at least you can get closer. Like you can get to your version of being independent and healthily interdependent with other people. So if this is something you would like, I'm going to invite you to book a sales call with me so we can talk about coaching together. In the first 30 days of coaching with me, you will know exactly the specific things that are keeping you stuck. It's different for each other person. And you will have scripts and a plan for starting to move things off your plate in a safe way. So like if you have to push back at work, we do it in a safe way. We're not trying to get you fired, right? Or with your family, if you need to pushing back in a way that doesn't break the connection or blow up your life. I am not a fan of blowing up your life. My life had to blow up before I could make changes. I don't recommend it. It's not fun. I recommend we try to do it in safe ways so that you can keep the people you love in your life, but also center yourself in your life. And then we work together for 6 months and I keep you accountable. I give you the support you need so that you are getting your own goals done. You're starting your business, you're writing your book, you're switching jobs if that's what you want, you're getting a promotion if that's what you want, you are getting divorced if that is what you want, or you are dating. You are like taking those steps to start dating no matter what the people in your life have to say about it. All right, that is our episode for today. Look for a couple more episodes this week on this topic. Thank you for your time and attention, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you are ready to get married after divorce, I want to invite you to download my free 8-video training specifically designed to help divorced women date with ease and get married again. Head over to sadecurry.com to get started. That's SADECURRY.com. I'll see you inside.